Greetings everyone, slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at my personal top 5 cards I'm most excited to play with in Wild for the upcoming Forged in the Barrens expansion. The first card I want to look at is Celestial Alignment. This is a 7 mana druid spell. Set each player to 0 mana crystals, set the cost of cards in all hands and decks to 1. Now this is one of these crazy deck building cards. It kind of draws similarities to Renounced Darkness in a way, where you build your deck a specific way to take advantage of this. The thing is, it makes your opponent's situation kind of crazy as well. So there are lots of different ways you could get this card to work. Some ideas that I've seen on Twitter are just play a whole bunch of removal and then play this as soon as you can, and then play a whole bunch of giants. You could also run a whole bunch of card draw and play a Mechathune Druid. There are some memes you can do with Twig and breaking the weapon, things like that. You can also use Loatheb to stall. It has potential in maybe a Malagos deck. Maybe even Star Aligner, but maybe it's just going to be terrible. It's probably going to be terrible, but it's something I want to have a bit of fun with. And I'm sure it's going to be a card that's going to result in quite a few highlight clips on different streamers, YouTubers' content. The next card I'm really excited about is Runed Orb, a 2 mana spell for Mage, deal 2 damage, discover a spell. Now, I like the deal 2 damage because it can go face. I also like the discover a spell because it's similar to how Primordial Glyph works. The difference here is you're not getting the spell discount, you're getting 2 damage, but playing this in, say, Quest Mage, where you either hard run it or you just discover it, its cost gets reduced with Sorcerer's Apprentice. You could have some absolutely insane turns with Flame Waker. You also might consider playing it in a Mizaki Mage or an APM Mage. It's just a really nice card, and it's aggressive, which is the sort of style that I like to play, and I'm very excited to give this card a try. Next up we have Conviction. This is a 1 mana paladin spell, and it has different ranks depending on how many mana crystals you have. So as a baseline, it is essentially a Blessing of Might. Give a random friendly minion +3 attack. Keep in mind though, it's random, so you can't target the specific minion. Once you have 5 mana, it then targets 2 random friendly minions for +3 attack, and once you have 10 mana, it gives 3 random friendly minions +3 attack. So you could play this in Odd Paladin, you could play this in Aggro Paladin. I don't think you'd want to play it in Libram Paladin, but maybe. But I mean, if you have 3 minions on the board, you've got 9 damage for 1. If you got 2 of these in hand, because this is an epic, you've got 18 damage for 2 mana. So yes, you need to have the 3 minions on the board, but if an 18 damage 2 mana finisher in the late game is pretty insane. Now, Murloc Shaman was one of my favorite archetypes back in the day, but then Blizzard printed Arcane Flak Mage and Flame Ward for Mage, which essentially killed the deck. Well, now the tides have turned, because now Shaman has Firemancer Flurgle, 2 mana 2/3 Murloc. After you play a Murloc, deal 1 damage to all enemies. So it's not as powerful as Arcane Flak Mage. However, it is better statted. This is more difficult to remove. And keep in mind that a lot of the Murlocs cost 1. And so, whereas with Arcane Flak Mage, you gotta play Secrets, which can be 3 or free with your different synergies. This, you just start spamming down Murlocs. You can clear the board, which is really helpful as an aggro deck while also developing your own. And it's unfortunate this is a legendary. I'd love to run 2 of these in my deck, but also keep in mind you can discover these, you can generate them randomly. It's just going to be an all-out amazing card for Murloc Shaman, and might put Murloc Shaman back on the map as a competitive deck again. And last but not least, we have Altar of Fire, 1 mana Warlock spell. Destroy the top 3 cards of each deck. So this card is probably pretty stupid to run. You'd be crazy to run it in a control Warlock deck. But I think in an aggressive Warlock deck, it's perfectly fine. Would you run it in Dark Lair Warlock? Maybe, but it does take up a slot to kind of do nothing. But I think it would be kind of fun in an aggro Warlock, especially up against control or combo decks. Against aggro decks, it's not going to matter, but it's just a really funny card that can throw your opponent off guard, and I'm really happy it exists. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to my top 5 wild cards for the upcoming Forge in the Barrens expansion. Let me know what your top 5 cards are in the comments below, and you can also drop a like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and until next time, hope to see you again.